Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Thursday edition of the Third and Long podcast. As you can see, I am broadcasting from my cupboard once again. My name is Shane Harris, and we're only a threesome this week. I am with my good old buddies, the podcast OGs, Oliver Hope, Ollie Butler Henderson. Gentlemen, how are we doing? And Ollie, nice new background. Where are you this week?
In my living room, not in my dining room.
I love it.
I am moving house this weekend, so my table has gone.
The most three stressful things in life: having kids, moving house, and getting married. I've done them all. I wouldn't recommend it.
Try coaching them. It's not easy at all, mate. It's not easy at all.
Yeah, I'm good. You know, got a busy weekend planned, but it's going to be.
Oh yeah.
It's my granddad's 80th. I'm going.
Oh, nice.
Nothing that interesting, but it's going to be long.
I can't do family parties. I'm very much the black sheep. You know, there's usually too much beau involved, and family secrets come out. It's like an episode of the Jerry Springer Show.
Granddad's 80th birthday, then my dad's birthday the next day, so that's going to be interesting.
Oh, nice. Sound. Shall we get rolling with the show?
Yes.
Always. Let's shake, rustle, and or roll.
Shall we start with free agency?
Yes.
Always.
Actually, I want to know your opinion on the first one I've got, Ollie. Mike Gesicki, what do you think?
Upgrade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you reckon you're going to go back to the two tight end situation?
All day long. It's what Bob used at Alabama. It's how they run it. It's how Patriots work the best. It is literally going back to smash football. We all saw DJ's mock draft, his third one. He had us taking BJ Robinson. It does make sense that he's put it there, but there is other pressing issues that we need over that. Wide receiver, yes, we've signed Juju, but I still think we need another slot receiver. We'll get to that when we get to my mock draft.
I hate to put a damper on it, but I think you still need a WR1 because Juju isn't that, in my opinion.
100% correct.
Name me a time New England had us out and out WR1.
Randy Moss.
How many years ago was Randy Moss?
Yeah, that was a while ago, fair play. When the hoodie had him.
Edelman?
Yeah, but Jules isn't what you would call a typical WR1. He was always the go-to guy. Never get anything wrong, but he's not your typical WR1 like Adams, like Jefferson, like Chase. They are your genuine WR1s.
Was Welker before or after Moss?
After.
He was around. That was a crossover. It was like an Edelman Welker crossover. We have 1.5s. We don't have WR1s. We always have 1.5s,
Yeah, Jacoby was a bit of a 1.5, wasn't he?
Yeah. That's what it is. So
Parker's probably a 1.5 at best. Yeah. But I still think you're missing that out and out number one receiver.
Yeah.
It's never cost us before. Although when we didn't have WR1s, we had Gronk. So there you go. That makes it up. It's almost like how KC do it. They haven't got a WR1 this season, but they had Kelsey.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. I would say it's almost like his lot down here, where they don't have a true WR1. They've got Mike Andrews.
Mark Andrews, yep, spot on.
I mean, then there's the Niners who have a great tight end and two WR1s, in my opinion.
and you still got one Super Bowl, so.
Maybe even three if you count McCaffrey.
4 minutes 30 this time.
I know, we're getting closer to the beginning all the time. So we're a threesome this week. Where is Mr. Parents?
Mr. Parents, yeah, he's he's been at Parents Evening all night. Yeah.
So he is legit being Mr. Parents right now.
No, he's back. He's got a power cut.
But yeah.
Anyway, Ollie, Jalen Mills.
So yes, it's good because you bring back that experience, that player who knows the system. You're not going to learn. Yes, they're moving across to safety, which was the original position anyway, which it works and it covers Devin McCourty. Oh my god, I couldn't remember his name there. So it works. It's a good thing. I like that.
Okay.
I like everything that New England have done in this off season. I really, really do. I think it's brilliant.
Sure. So, what do you think of this Jets Hardman thing? Because I'm assuming he's just a replacement for Mitchell, who, in my opinion, the Jets got robbed blind by the Browns. But we'll talk about Hardman first, shall we?
I think he's a good addition. I think he's a really good addition. I think the Jets are, if the Rodgers deal does go through, he'll have plenty of weapons. They were good. They were there or thereabouts this year. I think they're going to be a dark horse if things keep going the way they're going.
So Garrett Wilson, he won Rookie of the Year with the worst quarterback play probably in the league. So give him a good quarterback, and I think Garrett Wilson could go off.
Yeah.
And then I think McCall Hardman is a true WR2.
Green Bay, you remember, Aaron Rodgers, he's apart from occasionally, they've not really had an out-and-out WR1 in their entire life. Okay, Devontae Adams, you would argue that, but they wouldn't have a WR2 or WR3. It's Devontae Adams, and then their running backs. You know, it was that kind of thing. So having more weapons to throw to is going to, we all say Aaron Rodgers, but
with Hardman, with Lazard, and with Wilson.
Exactly.
And decent wide receivers.
It has been known today that Lazard and OBJ are now following each other on Instagram and social media.
The plot thickens.
I really don't buy into stuff like that.
The plot thickens.
I don't either, but yeah, rumors are rumors. It's like I'll talk about when we get to the mock draft. Certain QBs getting playbooks. You know, we all knew Trevor Lawrence pretty much got the Jags playbook as soon as week 18, week 17 was done at that time. There you go. There's your playbook. As soon as they knew they're number one, there's your playbook. So it is, there's rumors out there that is happening. It is going to happen. I've heard rumors that they're miles apart from each other. And there's rumors that it is literally days away of having away. So it depends which way you see it and who your source is. I think it will happen sooner rather than later, but I don't think it's days. It will happen. It will happen probably a couple of weeks before the draft.
Yes. So onto this Elijah Mitchell thing. The Browns have got Elijah Mitchell and pick 74 for pick 42.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one, but I think the Browns did pull a fast one there, shall we say?
Yes. I think it was definitely the Browns won that trade. Because Elijah Mitchell, I think he could be a good wide receiver if he can if he can actually get on with the franchise, because I know they had a bit of back and forth last year.
Yeah.
But I did read today that actually he said the trade came out of nowhere, but he couldn't be happier that he's moving to Cleveland.
Somebody might want to check his temperature or something. That doesn't sound like something a human being would actually say.
I was like, I don't think anybody's ever been happy about moving to Cleveland in their life.
Unless you're LeBron James, but it's a different story for a different time.
Yes, well, I think he's from the.
I was going to say, can we now talk about the Ravens free agency moves, please? Drum roll, please. Ollie, somebody fix me up with a sound effect.
Have there been any?
Not many. Big fat goose egg once again. Anyway, moving on.
You had your chance, and the Ravens.
You had your chance. You re-signed Justice Hill, didn't you?
Yeah, we signed Geno Stone as well. Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, my sources tell me. Little prop comedy here.
The Niners have signed an $84 million D-tackle. The Patriots signed Juju Smith-Schuster and Mike Gesicki, and the Ravens have signed Justice Hill.
Yeah, exactly. Not even a third-string running back. Unbelievable. So, Devin Singletary going to the Texans. That's a good signing for the Texans, I think.
The Texans are signing everybody.
They're sick of being some mediocre.
They'd have more holes on the calendar.
To me, They're obviously backing D'Amico to spend. I mean, Singletary. I think Schultz is actually a better tight end than Gesicki. And
Oh, I don't know.
Right. Take my Patriots hat off. Stats say yes.
John's come in
You know.
saying clearly the Ravens don't need any improvements.
Oh, John, that's so nice of you to say. John, have you claimed your draft hat yet?
We
I
will
believe
be
there have been discussions on Twitter.
They have.
discussions. I have told him as soon as they've announced the draft caps and they are available, we will send him one. That one there.
Fantastic. And when that happens, John, when you do receive it, send us a picture of you sporting it.
Yeah, we'll make sure you've got a Broncos hat ready for you, mate.
That's right.
Oh yes,
But yes. I do think Schultz is a better tight end than Gesicki, which sort of translates because he's got more money.
But Texans are doing something very, very clever. They're going, right, 1 year deals. A lot of teams are going, right, let's be very clever. Let's get 1 year deals. Let's get these 1 year deals. Let's see if it's worth it. Let's see if there's anything like from there and go from there. Let's not, try and break the bank just to try and get something that might get us to a top 10 pick. That is it.
I think after last year, they can't do any worse, can they?
No, that is very, very, very true. It's poor. It really is poor. You've lost me. I don't know where you're going from, mate. Where are you going? I don't know what's the next stud.
3 years, 75 million.
I'm reading across the screen. I can't find what's going next. But yeah, I like the work that the Texans are doing. I like the work a lot of teams are doing. Panthers, like you said in the group chat, Shano.
Yeah.
Panthers are loading up. So whichever QB goes there, they're like, fair play. There's a real interesting fact which I've heard today. Only 2 teams. So Adam Thielen was undrafted. 2 teams went for him. One was Minnesota, which was his home team.
Yeah.
Where he's from. He's a Minnesota boy. And the other team was? Carolina.
Oh, right now. So they've sort of been sweet on him for a while.
So they've got this, whoever they're going to bring in, they've got Adam Thielen, who's a safety net. Their running backs, just showed when they sent, his love child over to, over there. They were they still managed to get themselves a couple of running backs able to do 100 yards a game. One of them was able to get 100 yards a game, nearly much every game. And their offense looked good. So it's just putting that quarterback in, whether it be Stroud, Young, Richardson, Levis, whoever it is, that's going to build them. And I think they're putting the foundations in to work well on a quarterback.
Anyway,
as I said, but in the group chat, they're going to be like Black Beauty this year, if you know what I mean, a dark horse.
So back onto Larry Tunsil, 75 million. Is it 4 years, 3 years?
It's a good deal. It's a very good deal for him to stay where he is. He's a foundation on that defense. He needs to stay where he is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you find that when you've got foundational pieces of any team, they're not going to stay for cheap.
No.
Especially if you're a team like the Texans.
Completely. I can see the Texans doing something this year. I really can. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be this Cinderella story where they're going to win, etc., etc. But I can see them pushing the Jags to that divisional. To that divisional.
Well, I mean, the other 2 teams, Texans and Colts, don't look like they're going to do much, do they?
No, agreed.
Depends. Honestly, it depends who gets drafted by the Colts, because they're are they 3rd pick?
Fourth
pick. They can still draft strong.
Third QB probably.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at anyway. And speaking of the draft, nice segue there.
Whee.
Thank you. I've done this before.
Hey. Right, shall we do Philos? Mr. Perrins is teaching children. So he sent a screenshot of this one. So there's a consensus. It is pretty much 50-50 who you go number one. It's either Bryce or Stroud. Stroud, so that goes where. Is there anyone that jumps out at you?
Tyree
Wow,
Wilson,
he's
I think,
gone
is a
that
bit higher at 3.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said in the group chat. I think that's exactly the same. There's so much more quality to be picked on the board.
I also think Porter's a bit higher at 10, but I know Phil is very high on Porter.
Yeah, he is, yeah. But I do have a serious question about the draft, right? So say if, like, would you rather address a team need, or would you rather have somebody who is incredible in a different position, if you know what I mean?
I think you also always need to address the need of the team.
Yeah? Okay. No, I was just curious.
Right. I agree with that. You address your team needs. But say Will Anderson drops to you at, let's say Sam Fran have got the 18th pick, and Will Anderson drops to you, you take him. You know, we know how good your pass rush is and how good, you know, your defense is. But if you had someone like Will Anderson drop to you at 18, would you take him?
Yes.
There you go. That's the thing. It depends on the player.
I mean,
Same with Michael Myers as well. If he dropped to the Niners or the Ravens, would they want him?
It's a bit like the Rodgers and Love situation, because both times Green Bay did not need a quarterback.
No.
But they took him because he dropped in their lap in late first round.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
So he's got JSN as looks like the first wide receiver off the board.
Yes.
To New York. That's quite a big one, because there are some really good. I mean, I know you're higher and higher. Anderson's good. What the hell are you doing, Shayna?
Trying to look at better camera angles in this mock draft.
But I do like JSN. And if we don't get Flowers, I'll be quite happy with JSN. I think he's a bloody good.
I think Flowers will be around when you're on the clock. I'll be very surprised if JSN is.
Yeah, is there anyone out there that goes, "What the hell have you done? Why have you taken in him?"
There's nothing that's jumping out at me as like very wrong.
Yeah, I think the farther we go along with the mock drafts, a lot of stuff's going to be the same.
Yeah,
a lot of each other's drafts and a lot of consecutive drafts are going to be the same.
I was looking at yours, Ollie. I know mine and yours are quite similar, and I'm looking at Phil's, and I know I've got quite a few similar to him. So,
Shano, let's roll on to yours, because I know you're on your current break.
So I am.
Let's roll on to yours.
That's better.
Give us the highlights.
Bryce Young is going first, because I think Carolina are adding to their team aggressively. They're going to be aggressive and take the best player in the draft, which is Bryce Young. And as I said, they're going to be a force this year. And got CJ Stroud going to Texans as well, who we will see if he's going to sit behind Davis Mills or not. I don't think he will, but again, we'll see. I've got Tyree going 5th to Ollie's favourite team.
I've got a question about Carter at 3.
What's that? But go for it.
Well, do you not think his current legal issues might affect his draft stock?
As I don't want to use the term desperate, but as desperate as the Cardinals are for a little bit of success, something for their fans to cheer about, they're going to take someone like Jalen Carter, who on his day is brilliant at what he does, and they're going to sort of clear his legal issues up when the time comes.
Fair enough.
I noticed. I just checked for it. I noticed Phil hasn't got Carter in his first round at all.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of talk about Carter's pro day and him struggling.
Yeah.
As I said, everyone still knows he's what he's capable of.
Yes.
So you've got Deontay Banks going at 18. Now I do have him going in my first round, but not quite as high as that. What makes him jump above a couple of the other cornerbacks that you've got in there, like Emmanuel Forbes and Cam Smith? What you've got him jumping above them?
I just think that the Lions need a good corner, but it's surprising. Like in the first round, how far down they are, which is surprising. I just think he's a really good corner. And the thing is, you don't know then who else they're going to pick later on in the draft. Like who did I have the Pats taking, Ollie?
Broderick Jones,
Lucas Van Ness.
No,
Lucas Van Ness.
I've got Lucas.
Yeah,
Broderick
Jones.
I've got you taking Lucas Van Ness.
No, my eyes went, woo. You got to tackle.
Do you think that's a good pick for your team? Because you obviously know more about the Pats than I do.
You can't be any worse than win. Let's put it that way. As long as he knows not to hold a player and not to false start and not to jump offside and all that crap that Australia Win does, I do Trent Brown or any of our tackles at the moment. Anything's a pick's a good to that line. I mean, I did say that we would address our O-line in the free agency. We did. We picked up a couple of offensive tackles. We did above and beyond what I would think we'd normally do in free agency, but that doesn't matter. You've got Quinton Johnson going above JSN.
When are we here? 2 seconds.
You've got against the Titans.
Yes, because I think the Titans obviously need all the help they can get. But then I've seen JSN. He's visited with 2 teams, I believe. So, because I think I know how it works, where the GM calls a player. Has anybody ever turned down a GM? Do you know of such a thing happening?
Eli Manning tried.
Callahan, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought. Didn't he? That's right, yeah. So it goes to show it does happen. He's visited with 2 teams, so he may still go there. There's a lot of variables up in the air about this one. I did this draft a few times because I wasn't happy with the outcomes. But 9 times out of 10, I had the Ravens taking Zay Flowers as well. Because God knows we need all the wide receivers we can get at the moment. I mean, there's no guarantee that they're going to be good. Because look at Rashad Bateman. We took him first 2 years ago, and he's been all right.
John's just coming with a question. Will Bryce Young perform in Carolina as expected, or will it be a first season like Trevor Lawrence had at Jacks? I think whoever goes to Carolina will perform better because they actually have a competent-ish coach.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Yeah, but now everybody can step up, can they?
They don't have
Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is... Urban Meyer was a train wreck. Yeah, he's correct. As good as the player is, NFL is another level. I will add, though...
Rookies often don't perform as well as they do later on in their career, unless your name is Brock Purdy. But I do think they'll, with a competent-ish coach, I'm not a big fan of Frank Reich, but I will admit he is competent and apparently is a QB whisperer. He should be okay. Just before we move on, I've got one question about yours, and that's Bijan Robinson at 26 to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I think the Cowboys really need a running back after using their franchise tag on Tony Pollard.
Maybe I got this one wrong. Not going to lie, I was struggling towards the end. But I think Zeke is gone now, so maybe he can sit under Tony Pollard's learning tree and learn a little bit, and then if Pollard doesn't sign a deal next year, maybe he can start as their RB1 in the following season. Maybe that's where my head was at with that one.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. And obviously, Tony Pollard having a pretty big injury, you don't know how he's going to come back.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was back to going from the rookies stepping up to the NFL. This is the main event. This is the big dance. This is what they all aspire to do with their careers. Some of them can physically not make it. Some of them can mentally not make it. It'd be interesting to see where these people go in the draft and how long their careers last.
Agreed. Completely and utterly agree with that one. Ollie, what paper scissors you goes next?
I mean, you go next if you want.
Fair enough. Then. It actually works quite well because I've got also Dallas taking a running back.
But you're taking Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yes, but I've got BJ Robinson going at 25.
So what's it behind Barkley?
Yes. So we're going to go for number 1. I've gone for CJ Stroud. I think watching this lad's combine, watching bits of his pro day, this lad is above Bryce Young as a quarterback. Going to the level, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's height bigger, weight bigger. He's a bigger player, and I think he's more ready straight away to jump into the NFL. And I think Bryce Young's weight issues and size issues will drop him down, but I don't think it'll drop him down as far as Las Vegas. I think he'll end up in Indianapolis. And I got Anthony Richardson going too, because I think that, his combine was off the charts. His numbers, his speed, his power, strength, his arm was off the charts. It's enough to put him at number 2. Don't think it's enough for Carolina to go, right, yeah, we're going to go with him. I think it's enough for Texans to go, you know what, we'll take a gamble on that one, personally.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but you're not wrong at all. I think that's a really good way of looking at it.
So you've got Lucas Van Ness going higher. I've got him going to Chicago. I just think he's there. I've also got Detroit. I've still got Devil Witherspoon going to Detroit. I think he is the best cornerback in this class. Yes, he's a little bit smaller than the other ones, but he hits hard. He's a ball hawk. He's a very clever footballer. And going there. I've got New York Giants taking B.J. Robinson. I think the way that Brian Daboll's football team is, they are very much a run-style football. It's a New York-style football, which is a run-style football. And it gives Barkley that rest. He doesn't have to jump into every snap. He can, I'm going to come out, and they've got someone really good, competent.
Matt Breed is not really at the level, is he?
No. It's the next level. I've got Bengals taking a tight end in Dalton Killard, who probably is the best tight end in the league.
Just give it up Hayden Hurst, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, he is. I just see them, obviously, Lost Hayden Hurst, get my words right. They don't really have a tight end in there. I just think it's a perfect step up for that. And the same with Saints. They don't really have a tight end either. And I just think he is a brilliant tight end. Still got you lot having a wide receiver, though. But I've got Nathaniel Dow going to you.
That's because you'll be crying if you don't get flowers. So you have to give yourself flowers.
Maybe. I was a toss-up.
Speaking of flowers, I saw he was having lunch with a couple. He had back-to-back dinners before his pro day today.
Yeah, I read that as well.
Titans and Giants, I believe.
Well, don't forget, New England was their coaching staff at the East-West Bowl. I can't remember his first name. So they've met him, they've spoken to him, they really, really like him. As in, really, really like him. They were all over him like a rush at the East-West Bowl. And I could see him going there. I really can.
You still got Devontae Banks going quite high then, ahead of Forbes, and you asked Shane that question, so I'm going to ask you that question.
Yes, please.
Banks going ahead of Forbes?
Looking at it, some of his numbers were better from college as a cornerback. While college numbers, his combine numbers were a little bit better, and I just think he'll complement Derwin James and JC Jackson better than Emmanuel Forswood.
Yeah, I can't remember who I've got going higher, to be honest. We'll find out.
I mean, he's only a couple of places higher than, Devontae Banks. Emmanuel Forbes. And I do see Minnesota taking that. There's so many weapons going in the NFC North at the moment. They need some secondary help in Minnesota, and I think it'll be a perfect fit in there.
Yes.
And boys, with that, I've got a dash. I'll leave you in the capable, more than capable hands of the podcast OGs. And hopefully when I come back on Thursday, I'll be bringing some Ravens news with me. Probably be bad news, but news nonetheless.
Lamar getting traded.
Will you be in a shed?
Don't even talk about something like that. Have a good one, boys. I'll be watching, okay?
Okay.
Later,
Catch
man.
you in a bit.
Oh,
Fine, I'm
brilliant.
I'm not even allowed to joke about Lamar. Okay. So shall we move on to mine?
Let's roll on to yours, mate.
So I've seen a rumor that Anthony Richardson is the apple of Frank Reich's eye. So I do have Richardson going at 1.
So you've seen that rumor. I've seen a rumor that the only quarterback they've given their playbook to is Mr. Stroud,
Yes.
certain Ohio State. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you and me rather same. I mean, us have both got Young going at 4.
I've got Will Anderson going at 3 and Tyree Wilson at 5, and you've got vice versa.
Yeah.
Witherspoon
We've
at 6.
we've both got Quinton. We've both got Johnson going at 8.
Yeah, I think we both had Levis at 7, don't we?
Yep.
I think our top 7 are exactly the same people, just in different order.
Yeah, pretty much
fact,
the
top
same.
8.
I mean,
I had Christian Gonzalez going slightly higher than you. I have JSN going to the Eagles. I have the Eagles actually taking 2 wide receivers.
Obviously, I've watched a bit of Ohio State's pro day, and obviously saw a lot of the wide receiver action during the combine.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen drafts that we take JSN over Zay Flowers, and I wouldn't be disappointed with that at all because he is a bloody good wide receiver.
So
he will make it in this league.
I've got you taking Van Ness. What would you think of that?
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot about him. I know he's a very, very good player, and a lot of coming from he's a very intelligent player, very good. He's got a very good swim action, where they knock the blocks off. So I do see him as is good, and it will give. I think it would complement the defense we've got. That one, Jude and a couple of the other guys we've got coming in there. So yeah, I would do that one. You've got Dalton going to Green Bay. Dalton Kincaid.
They've just lost Tonyan. He's gone to Chicago, I think. So they need a tight end. And I think Kincaid is the best tight end, or at least the most NFL-ready tight end in this draft.
So I see you've got a quarterback at 16.
I do. I don't think that the Commanders are sold on Howell.
It's a strange one, isn't it? To be fair, Commanders, you don't know what they could do. They could bloody bring up a center at 16. You generally don't know what they're going to do. It's such a car crash of an organization at the moment.
I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of Howell because I was very high on him coming out. But But I mean, we've seen like one game, garbage week 18 game out of it. I think a lot of people's minds are already at the beach.
So you've got Nolan going to KC. Nolan Smith going to KC.
Yes.
Elaborate, because I've got him higher than you. I've got him at.
Well, I mean, there are so many edge defenders and defensive interiors in these draft that it's just hard to fit them all into this. So I know KC are probably going to take a defensive player, and he was the next one on my list at the point.
So KC loves speed.
They do.
Both sides of the ball, so it does make sense. He's the fastest edge rusher lineman in this draft class. You know, there was only skill players on both sides of the ball that was quicker than him. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'll be
honest, I don't know that much about Nolan Smith.
He is a beast. He is so quick, so strong. He's got a very good spin move to break the blocks, get out the blocks. He is pretty much NFL ready. I do like him quite a lot.
Somebody I really like, who me and you both had at 18, is Brian Breeze from Clemson. I think he's very good, and also somebody that me and you had 24, also named Brian Branch, the safety from Alabama. They're two people I really like on the dark side of the ball.
I really like Brian Branch as well, and I was going through my going for it, and I'm going, he could be so much higher in this draft class. He's going to, it's so much higher. He could go to Detroit at 6.
The problem
He could
is,
even go.
though, it was sort of a bit with like Kyle Hamilton last year. People are reluctant to use their picks on safeties.
Brian Branch for Bama. He is the most NFL-ready defensive back in this league.
Yes.
In this draft class. They've lined him up at strong safety. They've lined him up at free safety. They've lined him at the nickel cornerback position. They've lined him up at the slot corner position. They've lined him up on all 5 defensive back positions. So Brian Branch is not your average defensive back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's now how you're going to use it. I mean, Jags will bite the hand off if he falls to him. I would be going, yeah, I don't care. We've got so-and-so and so-and-so. I would be going, yeah, we're having him no matter what. He's a brilliant, brilliant defensive back.
So it wouldn't surprise me if the Niners traded into 28, 29, 30 or 31 to get a right tackle, but I didn't put that in there this time.
You've got Jalen Hyatt. So you're the only one of the 4 of us having Jalen Hyatt in there.
Yeah.
I know you're incredibly high on him, though, aren't you?
Well, I had to put a Vols player in at some point. Just wait until we get to our draft steals.
Draft steals. Oh, God, yeah, he is going to be.
Shane's just said flowers to Baltimore again. I see a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's winding me up.
Shane, you and Ben all had Zay Flowers going to Baltimore. And that's something that's actually stayed the same from my last mock draft too.
Yeah, I've got 3 or 4 players that stayed exactly the same. And probably when we do mock draft 3, which we're going to be dropping it the week of the draft, so the Thursday night of the draft show. That will be our mock show.
You're going to have to be reading mine out.
That's fine by me. So, yeah, I mean, there is on average, there looks like there's about 50 odd players that between the 4 of us have used in this draft. Half of us have got Jalen Carter in the draft. I see you've got him in there as well. Is there any reason why you've got him going at 12, not at Notre Dame?
Well, I think he struggled, but as Shane said, people still know what he can do. The legal issues for me is an issue not because of what he did, but because of what happened that he was clearly involved in some way.
Yep.
But I mean, Alvin Kamara. I mean, lots of people tend to have legal issues. Deshaun Watson, and it doesn't seem to bother some teams.
No, agreed. Completely agree on that one.
So, I mean, I hope D'Amico doesn't take him because I like D'Amico and the Texans, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, so how that works. Sorry for teaching you how to suck eggs here on this one, or if you're picked in the first round, you get an option for a 5th year in the NFL. So if you're not picked in the first round, you only get 4 years. Sometimes only given a 3-year contract, but in the first round, you're guaranteed 4 years with an option for a 5th. So our team's going to be really risking on a player that could be suspended for a year because we know what the league are like with things like this.
John's just come out saying, "It wouldn't bother us."
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you trade back in to go and get him, John.
And then Shane said, quoting me in my knowledge of college football, "See, I am getting better."
Yes, we did notice you, Shane, about looking at all the asking us all the questions about the team names. Brilliant, love it. There's going to be players in this draft that are going to, every year they drop down. There's Rodrigo from last year for Detroit, who went in the 6th round, and he was an absolute steal. He's been brilliant. Yes. Cooper Kupp went in the 3rd. Your tight end went in the 5th.
Kittle went in the 5th. Fred Warner went in the 3rd.
Julian Edelman was a 7th round quarterback pick. He was a quarterback at Penn State.
Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah. So you could still pick up a lot of steals, and in a couple of weeks' time, we will do our steals of the draft, who we think are going to be later on. I mean, I know
Yeah.
me and Ollie have got Linda's draft book, so we'll have a look at that and go from there. But yeah.
I mean, I've already got one.
Yeah,
There's,
you've already mentioned that.
There's a chance he might play for Tennessee.
Hendon.
No, not Hendon.
Mm.
I mentioned him to you before.
Take me off there because I can't remember. Shall we roll on to our draft prospects?
Okay, yes.
As there's only two of us. It won't take long this week.
No, it won't take long minutes.
You are obsessed with a kicker out of Michigan.
So, John's just said the draft guides grades. The draft only grades players on current skills. I guess some future stars will come out from later round. Yes, I mean look at Tom Brady, pick 299. No, 199.
199.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation so many times. Yeah, 199. So they might not before you look at the college and going, oh, he's not that. No, I don't know about that.
And the NFL
then he gets
step
to
up.
Yeah, and then some people are able to step up, some can't. So yeah.
I mean, one of the glaring examples of somebody that was almost a god in college and didn't step up is Tim Tebow.
Oh yeah, for Florida Gators, such a good quarterback for at college level. There are so many players who are literally legends, as you said, in college level and can't manage to step up. So we'll see.
So yes, the kicker I'm obsessed with. Niners need a new kicker. I hope it's Jake Moody from the Michigan Wolverines. I mean, look at this season.
He is a very good kicker.
I mean, he was 29 from 35 for field goals this year, which is 82.9%. 9 of 10 from 20 to 29. 10 of 10 from 30 to 39. 7 of 8 from 40 to 49. And 3 of 7 from 50 plus, including a longer 59. But here's the thing that I think is incredible. 60 extra points made out of 60 attempts. And he did not miss an extra point in his 4 years of college. 5 years of college, in fact. Taking nearly 150.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's brilliant. Kickers are... I mean, we look at Bengals kicker. They picked him in the 5th. He literally did kick... Yeah, McPherson, that's it, Money Mac. He literally kicked them to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
The lad's confidence was, he walk up into the take the kicks in the wild card and the division round, goes, yeah, it looks like we're going to division rounds, looks like we're going to the playoffs, looks like we're going to the conference game, looks like we're going to Super Bowl. It's have that confidence and knowing that you've not very rarely missed, and having that confidence in your kicker, knowing they very rarely missed, is a massive.
But I mean, he's a big guy for a kicker.
Yeah.
He's 1.85 meters, which isn't that tall, but 95 kilograms. Like for a kicker, that's big.
Look at John will not tell me this. The Raiders kicker they had for ages and ages.
Daniel Carlson.
He was who?
They have Carson. Daniel Carson. That's who they have at the moment.
No, it was something ski. Can't remember his Januski or something like that. I can't remember his name, off the top of my head. But he was a unit, Then you look at he wasn't exactly small.
Randy Bullock's quite big.
Yeah, and sometimes they're going for these massive kicks. They need to be fairly big and have a bit of weight on them to be able to kick it there. So kickers, yeah, okay. I looked at the kickers, going, okay, there's not really one there that jumped out at me. I looked at the Linders, but there's only really a couple on there. One of them was Jake Mooney. So I've gone for an Ohio State Buckeyes. Yes, it is slightly biased because his name is Noah and his name's Ruggless. Noah Ruggless from Ohio State Buckeyes. Look at the guy's stats. I mean, you say, he's 6'2", so he's fairly big. He's 190 pounds, so he's fairly solid. He weighs more than Bryce Young, which says something.
Janowski's John's just come in with.
That's it, Janikowski.
Yeah, Johnny
Yeah.
Foster.
Yeah, brilliant player. He very rarely misses field goals. You know, he's at 85% for field goals over his career.
Better than Jake
No,
Moody.
over the last season. Sorry, he hasn't missed an extra point in the last 3 seasons. You know, his career stats is 98.7%. I say 3 seasons because he didn't play in 2020. He opted out due to COVID. So he is a solid kicker. His long is 49 yards. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, he seems
So
like
I
a
do like him.
solid kicker, to be honest.
Yeah, it certainly looks it.
I mean, the reason I took Jake Moody is because the 49ers Twitter community seemed to be who the Niners want to replace Robbie Gould. But
I've seen a lot of the Patriots community is saying exactly saying they want Jake Mooney as well.
But don't
and
you
a
want
lot of yeah, but Nick Folks is coming to the end of his career now, so it makes sense. It really does. And as you know, Bengals had Randy Bullock at the time. And they still drafted Evan McPherson.
True.
So it doesn't really matter. You know, we know what this game's like in NFL. You bring in new players to get rid of old players. It's what happened, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that does happen at all. But yeah, I do like the kickers. I think there's a couple of really good kickers in this draft. I mean, we've just 2 of them. They're very rarely drafted. They normally go undrafted.
And sometimes kickers get drafted and then the proverbial S hits the fan, like Matt Ariza last year. But the less said about him, the better.
The thing is, right, I can understand why they drafted him.
Yeah.
He was a kicker and he was a punter.
But I also understand why they cut him.
Oh, 110%. 110% agree with that one. Shows that an NFL team doing the right thing by someone who's done something wrong. Completely agree with that one.
Yes. The Bills went up my
definitely.
estimation when that happened.
Yeah, completely. I mean, we were both in awe about it. You know, we were all in awe about it because he could bomb the ball 95 yards and get it to stop. It was ridiculous. So he would have been a very, very good kicker in this league. Very good kicker, straight punter in this league.
Yes. So shall we look at the draft order?
Yeah, let's roll the draft order.
I mean, as I've said quite a few times, I'm going to be in America for the draft, so...
Oh, you didn't know that?
Yeah, I've not mentioned it much, have I?
No.
So I'm going to be able to watch it, like, properly, probably, unless I'm on a roller coaster at the time.
Yeah, but it starts 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah, Disney Parks close at, like, midnight.
Okay. So you won't be able to tweet as we go.
It depends what I'm doing on that day.
Fair enough. Yeah, so the draft order is... Obviously, Panthers are now moved up to number 1 slot.
Yes.
With Texans at 2. There is rumours that they are going to draft back, though, which is strange. Cardinals are staying at 3. If you were, let's say, Las Vegas, let's say Tennessee, because I don't believe they are sold on Malik Willis or Tannehill. Let's say if you're Washington or Tampa Bay, you could quietly go, hello, Arizona, can you have your number 3 pick, please?
Yeah.
You know, that one is there. They've got their quarterback of the future. They're pretty solid all around.
No, Arizona are not solid. I said like quite a lot last year that I thought the Falcons were the weakest roster this year. And it brings me quite a lot of joy to say that I think it's the Cardinals.
Yeah, take this like Niners hat off, mate.
No, seriously, I do think that the Cardinals are the weakest roster.
I'm only going for what they got. I'd need to go through their depth charts and have a look on there. I I think there is. Okay, yes, wide receiver is a weak point for theirs.
Especially the Trade Hopkins.
Yes, sounds like he's going to Buffalo, which is insane. Yeah, you can drop, but if you drop down to 21, say they go to 21, which is whoever's 21, no, 19, sorry, Tampa Bay, you're still going to get a very, very good wide receiver at that level, which is what they need. Everyone says, yes, Will Anderson, we've got Tyree Wilson going in there because, we think he is the best fit. I've got Wilson in there because I think he's a JJ Watt replacement. Straight in, slot in, go.
I think Will Anderson's the best player in this draft.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Chargers are, so there is some really good players there, I think. I still think Falcons have got a lot of holes, and I don't think they've plugged enough of it in free agency.
No.
Bears have got, Bears at 9, which they've done really well. They've got wide receiver, which is what they need. They've still got a top 10 pick. I really, really like that. I mean, Eagles are the team to watch. I really do.
Well, the Eagles lost a lot of defense.
Yeah. And they've got a couple of really good players. Yeah, a couple of good draft positions. They've got what? 9 and 30, isn't it? 9 and 30?
10 and 31. No,
yeah,
10 and 30.
31. 10 and 30. So
because of the pick forfeited by Miami.
Oh, yeah, of course. So I think Eagles will be all right. I mean, I think one of them will be a wide receiver, and there's going to be a defensive player in there as well.
Because, I mean, they lost Hargraves, they lost their safeties, they lost linebackers, but they managed to keep Bradbury and Slay, which is big.
Oh, huge. Okay, they lost CJJ, Gordon Johnson, which is massive for their Super Bowl run. So there is players that are going to fill in. They could see them take if Brian Branch falls to them. Or I could even see them taking Brian Branch at 10 as well. There's lots of permutations here, and this is why I love the draft. You think, this player's going to go here. They're going to take this player. They're going to take this player.
I'm not sure.
Eagles have traded.
I'm not sure if you watched the 100 draft earlier on the cricket, but it was not entertaining at all.
No.
It was 4 people sat at a laptop while a presenter talked about something totally different, and I was like, "Oh, somebody's made a pick."
What did you say? It was done in 100 seconds or something like that.
It was like you had 100 seconds instead of 10 minutes on the clock. The presenter seemed genuinely shocked when there was somebody actually made a pick, though. I'm like,
Brilliant.
Isn't this what you're meant to be covering?
Brilliant. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it has been another good show. Thank you very much for joining in and commenting and getting involved in the show. Hopefully, Mr. Pounds will have internet and electricity back on next week, and he will be back from Parents' Evening. We will be back 8:30 next Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe.